Hello there. Um, Today, I wanted to talk about energies and, you know, toxic people, everything from um, being attacked by toxic people and their negative energies, all the way up to negative energies and toxic entities. So I will try to go from my perspective in third dimensional reality and in also fourth dimensional reality. Okay, so once you know, become more stabilized after your initial, the waking up after your dark night of the soul, you will come to realize that, energies are play such a massive, role in everyday life. This goes to say with people and just everything from people to drugs to food to just everything, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual energies are, they play a massive role in everything that you do. So you will then be so much more keen to the energies that are toxic to you, and you know, um, it will just become so much more evident. You will feel things so much more. So one of the first things that you'll notice is that you have a very low tolerance for toxic things. And this goes like as far as everything from food to people. To the drugs you ingest, just energies altogether. So one of the things you'll notice is that people that have a lower vibrational negative mentality, like people that are really pessimistic, or people that like to gossip, or that are highly egotistical, and just all around negative, they are really concerned with things outside of themselves. They're always talking about other people and the problems of other people, or whether it's politics or religious beliefs, or just egotistical beliefs like vanity, things like this. You'll notice that these negative people, they don't really emit any of their own positive frequency or their own light. So they mostly just feed upon the positive energies of others, the actions of others. And this is a common trait amongst negative entities or negative beings. The negative always feeds upon the positive. This is just the way it works in duality, between energies. So one of the things that you will come to realize that you need to do to remain positive, to retain your energy, your positive light energy, is to maintain distance from the negative. And one of the ways that you will, realize you need to do that or go about doing that is to pinpoint which people are the most toxic to you, and you'll know, whether it's friends, family, or both, or you know what I mean. It doesn't matter. You'll just know, because when you hang around these people, you will begin to feel drained, or just tired, or even get anxious or anxiety. So this is one way to pick these people out. Another way is pretty obvious, is like you'll go through your Facebook feed or your Instagram feed, your social media, and if they post nothing but negativity or just egoism, like constant insecurity, like posting selfies constantly, or never really any relevant information that it uplifts anybody, it just like brings them down. It's like fear mongering, or just all around egoism. That's a good way to pinpoint these toxic people. So just be aware of that, and I suggest trying to find like-minded people that vibe with you. So like whatever your interests are, don't let these negative people bring you down. You know what I mean? Don't let them make you smaller of a person. Don't let them make you feel like you are like lesser of a person, like you're uncomfortable to be your true self around them, because that's them leeching on your light. So that's what that is. So what you need to do is go about, what I did was go onto Instagram and I used, hashtags. It's as simple as that. Hashtags, brought me, they were enabled me to put off the frequency that I was resonating at, and then the people that also could relate picked up on that frequency and were attracted to me. And that's the way this works. That's I don't want to use the word law of attraction, but it's just the way the energies work, in duality. So what you reap you sow. So so this is how toxic energies or toxic people can be detrimental to your ascension in the physical dimension. Okay, they can also be toxic to you in the astral or fourth dimensional, lower astral plane. So, when you have nightmares, you'll notice there's always something chasing you or just scaring you. This is how the negative beings feed off of your light. Is through it's through fear mongering, because fear is a lower vibrational frequency and they don't resonate at your high vibrational level. All they can emit are these lower vibrational fear frequencies. So that's what they throw at you. And if you let it bother you, then it will. And you will then be brought down to their level where they can, leech onto you and start feeding off your light. So you need to realize that you are God sovereign being. Nothing can make you do anything unless you let it. So this is especially to remember while dreaming that you are basically invincible. Your thoughts manifest your reality. So if you are fearless and full of love, then that's all you'll be. But if you're afraid and full of fear, then that's what you'll become. So this is the whole, what I talked about in my fourth dimensional astral video, where the whole concept of ghosts and limbo comes from, because in that dimension your thoughts manifest your reality instantaneously. So if you are trapped in fear, then you will create your own hell, and if you are in love, light vibrations, then you'll create your own heaven. So it's just as simple as that. Like in the third and the fourth dimension, your thoughts manifest your reality. Just in the third, it's a little slower of a process because there's more separation to source. But so to give you an example, I have been attacked a multitude of times while astral projecting and while lucid dreaming by negative entities. In my most recent attack, I was flying around, okay, and then I went and sat on a ledge of like a cliffside, and I was sitting there, and all of a sudden what appeared to be a craft of sorts emerged behind me, and a being in dark clothing, a shadow being of some kind, had, I think, human features, but I didn't really see the face, had just immediately latched around me and put me in a chokehold and then pulled me back like this. And so what happened was I immediately returned to my body and laying in bed. And when I came back into my body, I was laying there, this being was still wrapped around me in bed. Like it was inside my bed, but it's just its arm was protruding out, and I was paralyzed in sleep paralysis. I then called for Archangel Michael and the Violet Flame to come help me, and then that's when he appeared to me. And he immediately, came in a big blue avian form of violet and indigo blue, and started waving and dousing me with swirls of violet fire, which then immediately vanquished this negative entity. And I broke down crying. I just couldn't take it. It was so intense. But he stayed there for a long time. It seemed like forever, but it was probably about 5 minutes. And then also Archangel Metatron appeared, and they took turns kind of what it seemed to like be shooting me with, not shooting me, but dousing me in waves of this violet fire. And that's when I asked them to douse my amethyst medallion that I hold so dear. So I wear that now while projecting and dreaming and stuff like that. And while I think I, really am gonna need it out in society against toxic energy. So, there's all kinds of attacks that you may not even be aware of that you suffer while dreaming because you have amnesia, when you return to your body from the astral. I've had several attacks. They've grown a little thinner and fewer and far between as of late for me. But when they do happen, they happen with a really big intensity. And it almost always results in these beings attacking me physically and then following me to the third dimension through sleep paralysis. But then I break free pretty easily. Another attack that I had was when in 2014, I was kicking heroin and Xanax out in the desert in a camper. And I couldn't sleep for weeks. Literally, I didn't sleep for a month. But in the middle of this, I had gone into an OBE, out-of-body experience state, where I was drifting above my body. And when I did that, I looked down, I saw a etheric astral blue entity. It was a djinn or a demon of sorts. It had what looked like a Doberman Pinscher-like head of a dog, and then a bat body, with the folded in wings. And it was just kind of lurching over my body, and it was feasting on my chakras, my sacral chakra and my root chakra. This immediately sent me into a terror. So I shot back down into my body, where I was then in sleep paralysis, and this being held me there in fear until I slowly remembered my studies, which was how to escape sleep paralysis. And I slowly began to focus attention and intention into my fingertips, and it slowly activated, use. It unnumbed my hand, and then that crawled and grew and went up my whole entire arm until I then regained access to it. And then that's when I lurched forward and grabbed this being by the heart, because it had this glowing orb in the center of its being that was like a reddish orange. And I think that what it was feeding on was feeding this heart that it had. So this is just another, although extreme, although multidimensional example, this is an example of how negative entities feed upon your light. And it's as deep as you want to go, really. It's as deep as your mind is willing to take you. But I'm trying to relate to people on all levels, well, mostly just 3 and 4D levels. But what I'm telling you is that these beings are of the dark. They are evil. This is evil energy. This is the shadowed flame. The flame is a lower light than the cosmic light that we are, being God's sovereign creator beings of universal creatrix. So they are a lesser entity because they are dark and they still have to survive. They don't have access to their heart source or higher self, which is where this higher dimensional light emanates from. So they have to steal ours. And in doing so, they can ever only have a shadowed flame of the light. And that's what I mean by shadowed flame. So, so I know it's pretty obscure to hear if you're not used to astral projection and OBEs and lucid dreaming and multidimensionality. But you know what? The more you open your eyes, the more you'll realize. So thank you for listening, and hopefully I could help somebody with this. If you have problems with lucid dreaming or sleep paralysis, feel free to message me, and I'll try to my best ability to help you. All right? Thank you very much.